Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our flow session this week. So today is a nice, gentle, freedom-based flow. So it'll be quite simple moves, nothing too big, but we are looking at working on loosening around the shoulders, around the back, and around the hips. So we're just going to start standing. Just make sure you have enough room around you, whether you're on a mat, whether you are just in the space in the middle of the living room, and just start standing nice and tall and just take a few breaths in. Just breathing in, big stretch, and out. Big stretch in. Good morning, and out. Big stretch in and down. And just roll the shoulders down and back. Lift that chin slightly and just tilt the head side to side. Just trying to build some movement in the neck. And notice maybe if one side feels a little tighter than the other, be kind to the side that feels a little bit tighter. And then bring the chin down to the chest and up. Always working on that neck before we go into the shoulders, because there's a lot of tension that can be built up in the neck. And then bring the chin to the chest and just take a little roll. The ear hits the shoulder and then back the other way. And roll. And roll. And ear up and move it into the shoulders. As we go through, because the movements aren't too big, I want you to really take some time just to focus on the breathing. We're not jumping about today, so we can think about the slow in, slow out. If we can, through the nose. In through the nose, out through the nose. If that's a bit too awkward, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Try and get a nice deep breath. And now bring the elbows up. You're perfect, you're perfect, you're perfect, you're perfect. Nice big circles. And now bring the arms down to the side. Just take one on, big circle. Take a little lean as you take it back. Take a little turn towards it. And round. And the other side. So just let the body do what it feels it needs to do. Give yourself a little freedom. Explore the bits that feel good. Big stretch. And then if we can, it's both together. Big circle. And then bring them up in front. Open one arm back. And flow. And the other side. And open over the top. And again, just notice if one side's feeling a little bit tighter than the other. You got a bit more movement. And bring it across. How do the arms feel? They feel tired. The past couple of days, if you've joined in on the workout live or on replay, feel it in my arms this week. A little bit of tension in there, so bringing it down. Now, feet slightly apart. I just want you to just let those arms, like you're a toddler, just float side to side. Now, they might manage to hit the hips. You might get a little bit further, and then if it feels good, just release the feet. I feel like you're in a contemporary dance workshop. And then ground the feet. Just take a little reach to the side. And And lift up tall, just roll the hips round one way, back in, and then push round the other way. And release. Around. And figure of 8. So pop that hip to the corner, roll it around and pop to the other corner. You'll feel a little bit in the quads and build some mobility in those hips. And soft knees will roll down. So just take it to wherever feels good. The back is nice and round, nothing too forced. And then just take that gentle flow side to side. And then maybe move the hands with it. So the hands come to the toes. And once more, each side, a little wish, a little flow into the center. Bend those knees if you wish. Bring it up. Draw the knees in together. Just going to lift the knee across and out. If we need to, just move and hold. About moving the hip, not about balance, not about core stability or anything today. Just, and then take it over, over, over. And we place the weight into this foot and take it under on the other side, under. So there's something here, in and out. And then we're bringing it over. And over. Step it wide. Take it nice and wide this time. Draw up from the kneecap just for some support. Hands down the side of the legs and just slide under. Reach into the mat. Now if we can ease those feet out a little bit more. See if we can feel a little stretch on the inner thigh. And then we're going to walk the hands to one side. Without moving the toes. And without twisting in or lifting the little toes off the floor. So if you just get to here, no worries. If you can, just try and make it to that foot. If you want to have one hand on the floor, one hand on the calf, go for it. And just ease the tummy towards that leg. And then walk it across to the other side. To wherever feels good on this side. As you turn, if you've got tight ankles, you might feel a little tightness in the outside of the ankle.
Your soul is so
If we're just stretching that off and it feels okay, it might just be a little bit of tightness if you've done a lot of walking or off all the exercise. So just gently move into it and ease that tummy towards that leg. And bring the hands into the middle. Ease the nose towards the floor. Maybe rest the elbows down there if you've got that bend. If not, those hands are fine. And just take the breath here. And we're going to take the hands and walk them to one side. So maybe walk them to one foot, pivot on the feet, step this foot back, and just drop it onto the knees. Wrists underneath the shoulders, so a little stretch back and up, and a little stretch back, and find that position. Now here, we need to feel that weight.
Can you feel my heartbeat?
In the hands, and then maybe just give that little tail, a little wiggle, side to side, and then a little cacao area. Lift through the back, chin to chest, push the tummy down, drop the belly, lift that head. One more time, we tuck it under. And then lift the head, drop that belly button. I want you to take one wrist, flip that hand around the other way. And just give it a little
Can you
stretch.
feel my heartbeat?
Forward and back. You might have some tightness in the wrist. You might be like, oh. Ease it back and forward. If we can, a little circle one way and circle the other. Again, any tightness in the wrist, or tightness in the forearm, tightness into the bicep, and there we go into the shoulders one more time. So, flip the other side. Everything's connected. So I did a lot of writing last night. So this hand's feeling really tight.
Your soul is so pure.
And movement side to side. There we go. And flip. And just push the fingertips in and just reach the heel of the hand up towards the ceiling and lean into those fingertips. You can release the thumbs. And send it back. Stretch. And we bring it up. We're going to tuck the toes under. Then we're just going to put some weight into the toes. Same idea with those toes. Now your little toes sometimes might escape. Maybe just tuck it back under. And just put some weight into the toes. Stretch the toes this way. And wiggle in those booties over the heels. Stretch out the toes. So we're going up here. And then walk it forward. We're going to place the hands down. You're going to tuck those toes. Lift the hips. We're going to take it to a nice big downward dog stretch. Now a lot of tightness comes when we try and get this leg to step forward. We're just going to do a few little exercises just to help us loosen that movement off when we do our floors, we do any yoga inspired or Pilates inspired step up into lunges. So taking it from here. So I just want you to lift on the toes here. And then walk down the middle of the mat, but keep those hips high. You see, we're still here. We're not here. We haven't sunk into the arms. We're trying to bring those hips over the shoulders. And bring those feet as close as you can. Take a breath, bend the knees, releasing up. And forward fold all the way down. Hands down, bend those knees, step it back. And take those hips high. And just bring the feet close to the center again. One more time, lift onto the toes. So it almost looks like a little flow forward. Flow and tiptoes. Down the mat. Into wherever we can for that forward fold. Roll up. Bring a little reach to the ceiling as we flow to one side. And up tall. The other side. Roll the elbows down and back. Open the chest. Lift. And flow forward. Hold this forward fold. And just rock between the heels. And lift those toes off the mat. And then roll forward into the toes where we lift the heels. Building a little bit of movement and where we find the balance in the feet. And then with the hands on the floor, as we bring it into the toes, try and move that weight over the wrists and back. So if we're leaning forward, the wrist, the elbow, the shoulder in line. And then step it back into that plank. Do a little wiggle and then lift. One more time, we walk up. So walking up, 1. On those tiptoes, lift those hips high. Take it forward, weight in those fingers. Drop, roll up. Last stretch over to the side. Whenever we're walking towards the top of the mat, think about keeping those hips nice and high. Draw it open and lift. Fold it forward. Step it back. And from here, And take the same idea, we're just going to lift the right foot. As we lift the right foot, lift into the left toes. Bend the knee here. Draw it into the nose here. Then lean forward and step it down. Let's take a little seesaw in this lunge. Let's place the hands down, step it back. Lift the hips. Ground through the right foot to lift and transfer the weight. As we send the left foot up, reach onto the toes. Bend that knee up high. Then draw it under. Through to the nose. Step it down. And just take a little movement in the lunge. Hands down. Step it back. Drop the knees. Release the toes. Send it back into the hips. Take a breath here. Use those hands on the floor and kind of go through a curl in the back. So before you lift those hips too high, you're going through that curl in the chin to the chest, the back pushing up to the ceiling. Curl. Lean forward. Lower down. Cobra stretch. Start with a baby cobra. And down. Nice little baby cobra here. And down. Draw back up. Curl through the back. And sink it down. From here, walk the hands off the mat on one side. And just feel that side stretch. Go from the armpit into the hip. All the way down. Into the center. Try and ease our tummy down a little bit more, elbows down, forehead down, and then walk to the other side. Hands off the mat, deep breath. Stretch. Inside hand, the inside hand nearest the mat. And again, feel it go from the shoulder down the back into the hip. Back to center. We take through that, roll through and up. Chin to chest, roll through, down we go. Cobra stretch. Taking it down. And lift it up one more time. Cobra stretch. And down. Send it up into all fours. From here, we're going to bring one knee forward. This foot, we're going to turn in slightly. We're going into that pigeon stretch. So we don't want the heel to stay under that thigh or that hip. We just want to move onto the inside so you can use the hand. And just find that comfortable position. Just take a little movement here. Now this is a really tight position. It's quite difficult if you've got tight hips or you don't do it that often. So the foot is on the inside of the thigh and the knee bends round. When you get quite flexible, it could end up being out here. You might see some poses where it's out here. Not with this hip. And then we just turn into it, stretch into the top of the foot. So there's no pressure on the back knee at all. If we can, we take a little sit up. It's quite a big stretch around this hip and into the back. If you just like, no, I'm quite happy here. Take a little side movement here. And then if we're up tall, breathe in and take it forward. And here, just almost relax the body without putting any weight on that back knee. Maybe take a little rock side to side. So we're dropping that right hip down towards the mat and then bringing it back up to a straight position. And then hands in. Push through the palms to lift. And send that knee back. Stretch it into a child's pose. Take a breath here. Lift up tall. Draw that left knee up. Turn that left foot in. Take it onto that pigeon pose on this side. So that left heel, the inside. And again, we're just finding where feels good for you. So this again might be really tight on this side. This might be an easier side. If it feels that you need to stay down here, stay down. If you can give a little lift, we lift. And we can always build upon this. So remember, no pressure on this back knee. The weight in the back foot, we stretch in that back leg. And then we take it down. Resting on the elbows. And just take a little rock while we're dropping that left hip down to the mat and then back to a center position. And then lift those hands underneath the shoulders. Use the push. And send it back to downward facing dog. Take a little walk in those feet. We're going to lift that right foot up. Bring it into a lunge. So think about the lift. Think about the curl through. Think about the step. And get that nice lunge position here. Take a little seesaw. Breathe into that low lunge. Drop the back knee. Release the toes. Now if you need to stay here for balance or rest on the thigh, stay, no problem. If we can, we bring it up. Lift and sink into that lunge. Maybe take a little reach back if you have that in your practice. If not, maybe draw the elbows or the thumbs back. And slowly bring it down. From here, bring both hands to the inside. Toe, heel, off. So the right toes are off on an angle. The hips still face down. Still have this line here. You haven't turned the body with it. We're just working this hip. So my shoulders are still down. My hip, my knee and my toe is facing off on that angle. Now your choice. You can leave this back knee down. You can tuck and lift for a little bit extra heat. And we're going to leave the left hand down and draw the right arm, elbow back. Feel that stretch. Breathe into it. Bring the hand back down. Take a breath as we lift this foot back into downward dog. Take a little walk in those heels. We're dropping the left heel now. Release the right heel, releasing the left foot. Take it up. Lift that toe. Roll that knee through. Nice and high. We step it in to our lunge. Take a little seesaw into the lunge. Find what feels good. Bring the hands to the inside of the arch of the foot and toe heel off to the side. So remember to keep this body facing down, shoulders facing down, toe, knee, hip out at an angle. Drop the back knee. Now your choice. You can leave that back knee dropped, or you can tuck the toe and lift. The right hand stays down, open out. Feel a nice big stretch. And bring the hand back in. And just step that foot back. In downward dog. And bring the knees down. Toes together. Move the hands in, lift those knees. Extended child's pose. We've got those knees out and open wide. Take a breath. And down. And reach and walk. We'll try to keep the hips connected to the heels as much as we can. and slide those hands away. So we don't want to come here and lift up. We want to try and stay as close as we can and mindfully move those hands forward. And bring it in. Now we're going to roll into one side. We're going to send one leg forward. Now this is a half hero pose. The idea is this leg is straight on this hip and this leg is turned out like this. So if we find this really awkward and you can't get it on one side, you can always sit in a V like this. That's no problem. But if we can, we'll try and turn that hip this way and just take a little fold over the straight leg. To release some of it down the back of the hamstring. So we lean forward, a little bit in the back, and move that hip in a different direction. This is just a gentle fold. If you feel like you want a deeper stretch, take that breath, reach the hands and use its support, bring that tummy to the thigh, the nose aiming towards the shin, not the knee so we don't curl through. And then lift it up. We're going to take the same leg. We're going to bring it in. So the knee is down and the knee comes in this way. So a different position for those hips. And reach it forward. And again, just as we did at the start, just notice how this hip feels in each position, whether it feels tight or loose, or you will see when I do the other side the difference it can make. If you've got one tight hip, this knee is almost at the floor. And draw it up. I'm going to take it to the other side. So extending the other leg and this leg like a hurdler. Wherever you want it to be. It can be in close, it could be out wide. And if we need to, you can stretch it out straight. And we're just taking it over this extended leg. For the breath, for the release. And again, if you want a deeper stretch, think about lengthening through. Do what you feel like you need today. Draw it in. Bring it over. And then as you will see, tight side. Yeah, that knee is not going to go down, especially, and I won't get anywhere near on this leg. I can feel the tightness here, and I know. And keep working on, keep stretching through. So just work wherever that tightness is. Breathe into where you feel tight. Just breathe and take the stretch you need. Now, if you found one side is more tight, here you can also end up feeling it in your ankle. So just be careful that you're not over pressuring the ankle. If you need to, take a little release and find the position that feels good. And then draw it up and send both legs forward and stretch down. So here for the back, for the glutes, for the hamstring, push those knees down, grab wherever you want to hold. And if you can grab the feet, give those feet a squeeze. Give those toes a squeeze back and forward. Maybe put the thumb in the arch and give it a little massage. So draw up, draw the feet in, and just butterfly those knees. And maybe take that same little massage here in the feet. Give the feet a little bit of movement, give it a bit of love in and around the ankles as well. If you spend a lot of time on your feet, you get very tight feet. Bring them in. Tightness in and around the feet. Tight ankles, tight calves. Affects the knees and it will affect those hips as well. So just be mindful of how those feet might be feeling. If you don't do much with the feet, we're just going to rock on over and stretch it on up. If you don't do much with the feet, maybe see if you've got a little roll up. If you don't have any of the spiky balls at home, you might have some tennis balls. Pop it on the floor and move your feet in all different directions. So when we talked about moving in different planes, when we'd be moving forward and sideways and rotationally, you're rolling those feet forward, side to side, and in a circle. So really loosen out that tight face here in the feet. I'm sure we've got a video somewhere on the Facebook I will try and share today just to show you some ideas of what you could do. And if you've got some spiky balls, which you can get no problem from eBay for maybe £7-8 squishy balls, and you can use them in so many different ways, and it's really, really great for loosening up the feet and the ankles, which in turn will help if you do suffer from tight knees or your knees feel a little bit sore sometimes. A lot of it can come from either tightness in the feet or tightness in those hips. So we'll have to work on both of them because it's all connected. But otherwise, have a great Friday. I hope you're feeling a little bit more free. Throwing those arms about in the middle of the living room at 6:45 in the morning. But have a good day, and I will see you later. Bye.